So I have something that I usually don't do as content for this video. I made a couple trucking videos, like why you should get into trucking, why you should not get into trucking. This video is another trucking video, so I apologize to my regular subscribers, but I feel like this needs to be put out there. So I want to discuss things on trucking relative to pay. There's people that are trying to get into trucking, and of course I've touched base on this in my videos, why you should get into trucking, why you should not. But this video is more specifically on pay. I've discussed about a lot of the other stuff. Now it's time just to derive from the topic of pay. And I feel like a lot of people, especially when you're just getting into trucking, you should be knowing this stuff. And I've been told by countless truckers that about their pay scales. And I'm a little bit saddened to understand that some people are not getting paid as much. And I'm like, why? So I'm just going to throw you through what I've experienced through my journey of trucking. I've been trucking for a year and a half. Since December 2015, it is now May 2017. So it's about a year and a half. And during my experience in trucking with my company, which I've only been at one, has been relatively decent, right? It's a great starter company that I work for, and I'm not going to give you guys the name of that company because I still work for them. Once I stop working for them, I will give you guys the name of my company. It's a little hidden gem, I would say. So, with the company that I started with right out of school, you go through training. I got paid $450 before taxes each week that I was training, which was a total of 4 weeks, 28 days. And that money itself was better than I was making at my regular 9-to-5 job. So when I got out onto the road, I started off on 32 cents a mile after the trainer, the whole night. And 32 cents a mile was okay to start. I know there's a lot of trucking companies that will start you higher pay rate than that. But CPM, I was going at 32 cents a mile, and I would average go about 25 to 3,000 miles a week. They actually ran me hard. There was weeks I was going up to 3,300, 3,400 miles a week, which is really positive when I'm as poor as I was. And so I wish I could do math right now for you guys. 32 cents a mile times 2,500 miles, which would be like generally the minimum I was running, would be $750 to $850 a week before taxes. Now, just going out on the road, I accepted this. I knew that that was quite the possibility. Go up to 3,000 miles or 3,100, right? I would be making $1,000 that week. So just getting out into a truck, out on the road, I think that's a pretty standard rate. 32 cents a mile, 25 to 3,000 miles. So I would be making $750 to $1,000 a week just getting out into my own truck. And that's pretty standard. There are companies out there that are doing 27 cents a mile. And there's companies out there doing 40 cents a mile. So there's a big gap of types of opportunity. And I suggest for you, if you're going into trucking looking for money, specifically like this is your prime focus, you don't give a fuck how hard you work, that you don't take showers, etc. If your prime focus is money, which it probably should be, you should be taking the money and running with it, no matter how hard you have to work. And if your prime focus is money, well, look at it like this. You could be making any type of money in trucking. You can start off less than I was. You'd probably be making $500 to $750 if you're running low miles at a low CPM, right? And that's not That's not good for spending all your time out on the road. You want to be making real money. So I'd say 32 cents a mile to start, just getting keys to the truck for the very first time. 32 cents a mile, I would not go below that. Cents per mile is very important, and I didn't think it was that important until I actually started trucking. And I did it for a few months, and I realized that cents per mile was actually a big deal, because every company will try to run you. They do not want you sitting, because you're going to be out on the road sitting, not making money for the company. They don't want that. Every company will run you, guaranteed. If you're not being run hard, talk to some higher up in your company, because that means your dispatcher's not doing his job, or whoever's not doing their job. So they want you to run. So if you want to run and you want to make money, they will run you. Maybe you have to give them a little nudge. I don't know. But they will run you. So cents per mile is actually a huge deal. So if a company's telling you, we're going to run you hard, but you're going to be making 30 cents a mile, well, don't get that job. If some other company's offering you 38 cents a mile to start, and they don't mention how hard you're going to run, go for that 38 cents a mile. I'm telling you, straight up. Go for that 38 cents a mile, because they will run you, and if they don't run you, they're wasting their money and their time and the equipment that they paid $140,000 for the truck, and insurance, everything, just to sit there. No company's going to do that. So cents per mile is important. So try to get as much cents per mile as possible. Really, really important. Oh no, my vape died. Shouldn't have. So really crucial to understand that your cents per mile, that number is very important. So right now, I am only making 38 cents a mile, starting at 32 cents a mile. All right. And if I stick around with this company another month, I will be making another probably 3-cent raise. So the general gist of people starting off is going to have nice pay raises every 6 months. Find a company that does. You don't want to be set at 32 cents a mile. That's it. That's a very important question to ask the recruiter. What is the average pay raise every 6 months? And what is the max and what is the minimum? And if they say you could potentially not be getting a pay raise, don't even go with that company. So with my company, I got 3 cents a mile added after 6 months. So I started making 35 cents a mile. Now, if you think about it, if you're only running 2,500 miles a week and you get a 3-cent pay raise, that's $75 more a week. 75 going 2,500 miles a week. 75 extra dollars. You go another 6 months, that's another 75 extra dollars a week. So I'm making $150 per every 2,500 miles more a week than I started. That's $150 more a week than I started. So in trucking, I personally have made $100 a week. Like, you just get out on the road, you put in your envelope or whatever, however you make money with your company. Put in my envelope, and it was a small run. I only made $100, right? Like, that's as low as I've ever gotten in trucking, and that's like, I don't know, 6 hours to work for. And my highest paycheck was actually, well, not my highest paycheck, but the biggest amount of pay that I got per 7 days, 1 week, was $1,500. 7 days, $1,500. It's a good paycheck. And I just got that, I just sent in the envelope for that a few days ago. So I should be seeing it Friday. $1,500 is really, really good money. So you're going to have to pick a company that has cents per mile, but in my company specifically, I also do plant runs. This means I actually do labor. I unload the plants myself, the whole trailer. I'll have many stops. So in 1 week, I did 3,000 miles, which is like $1,200 almost. What would it be? It would be $1,100 something dollars that I made with 3,000 miles per 38 cents a mile. Then I had 18 drops with my plant company, or my plant load. 18 drops, I get paid $25 a drop after my first drop. So instead of 18, you do 17. 17 times 25 is $425. So I made over $1,500 in 1 week. So yes, I worked very hard. I had to run 3,000 miles and do 17 drops, and I was able to do it in 7 days. But I was able to do more than $1,500 in seven days. So it's crucial to understand what your cents per mile is, and if you're getting paid per drop. If it wasn't a plant run, I only get $10 a drop with my company, which kind of sucks. And I've heard of other companies, like I've seen another guy that was doing the same type of plant run as me, but with a different company, making $40 a drop. And he didn't even have to unload it. $40 a drop, he had 20 drops, that's $800, and he didn't even have to unload it. So there's other companies out there that will pay you a lot of money. Right? So you need to pick your niche. How do you want to make your money? Now, I have a starter company, right? The guy that I was just talking about that was making 45 cents per mile plus $40 per drop, or whatever it was, I don't remember, it was last year I talked to the guy. It wasn't his first year. It was my first 6 months when I was doing this plant run, making 32 cents a mile and $25 per drop. So I was making really good money when I first started off. I was making paychecks over $1,000. So trucking, cents per mile is important, and your drops. So if you have 5 drops, how much are you making per drop? That's a very important question to ask the recruiter. Whether this is just a regular drop, no touch freight, or if it's touch freight. How much are you making? It's very important to understand this stuff. So with my company, when I do a plant run, which I'm actually going down to Miami right now, and then I'm going to be picking up either tonight or tomorrow another plant run, and I might even have to go through it with you guys to show you guys what happens for me to make this kind of money. Now, I'm not an owner-operator, just a company driver, but I make pretty good money. $1,500 working my ass off, obviously. Or, you know, imagine if I don't have this plant run. I'm making 38 cents a mile and then $10 a drop. So the $10 drops aren't doing me any justice. So in my plant runs, I would go to, like, let's say Walmart's. So I'd go to 18 different Walmarts, or even more. I've done 25 drops before, which is really good money because you would have to unload less at a time, and you would be making the same amount of money. So I would go to Walmart's. Walmart isn't up to date on trying to get me out as soon as possible. They're lazy motherfuckers. Sorry, if you work for Walmart, you could probably agree. Y'all some lazy motherfuckers. Y'all ain't trained to do nothing. So in my job, when it comes to Walmart specifically, I'm not talking about other ones, but specifically Walmart's, they would have to come out with a forklift. So somebody has to have a forklift license, and then they need a spotter, and then I need pallets, and then I need a pallet jack so I can put the pallets to the end of the trailer. So there's a lot of things that have to happen before we even unload the trailer. And it all relies on the Walmart associate. So I've been able to do drops in 20 minutes. Like, this is go to the person, hey, I need a forklift driver, I have a plant delivery, come out. And the forklift driver would come out really quick, really promptly, have a spotter on hand, etc. So they have a forklift driver that's not on lunch, not on break, not dealing with the customer, you know, and totally open to help me out. So $25 in 20 minutes. Could happen. Then there's times where, well, he's on lunch or we don't even have a forklift driver, so I apologize, and I'll be like, nope, give me your manager, give me somebody that will do this, whether or not they have a forklift license. And then I have to go through that routine, then they want to have a smoke break or whatever, they're lazy as fuck, the majority of people. That $25 might be after 2 hours. In fact, I've actually done a run, or a few times it was over 2 hours, where people wouldn't even start helping me for 2 hours. So I can bust out $75 in an hour plus my miles. It's possible. And then there's times where I'm only doing 5 drops. So with my company, a good scenario, a good day, a normal day, doing a plant run would be like, if I do 100 miles to the next drop, let's say I park at a Walmart that night, and then I'm waiting till the morning before, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, whenever it opens, and I get my plant run started. I get $25 for the first drop, then I drive to the next stop. Let's say it's 100 miles. Then I get it unloaded again. Then I go another 100 miles. Then I get it unloaded again. Then I go another 100 miles, etc. Let's say I do 400 miles that day, and then I do 5 drops total. So 5 drops is $125 for the day, plus 400 miles, which would be, I don't know, $140. So I make $265 in one day. Plant runs on an average day. Some days I've done 10 drops, but then that would only be like 200 miles. But 10 drops is already over $200. You know what I mean? That's $250 plus 200 miles. So plant runs can be really, really good, but you have to work. So it's labor. You have to lift plants, put them on pallets, etc. So this kind of work is making me good money. So I encourage you, if you want to stay in shape and if you want to make better money, go through a plant type company. Like I have a foliage company, so all our trailers are reefer, and I make more money that way. So something to think about, your type of drops. Are you making more money? So cents per mile is important, getting raises, and your drops. These 3 things I believe you should consider before anything else. Before how much home time you're getting, before anything else. If you're just starting trucking, don't worry about home time. You need to put in your work. Straight up. Put in your work. Make sure you're making really good money putting in this work. Because there are companies that are going to screw you. I didn't plan on naming any companies in this video, but Trans Am, I hear, is only like 27 cents a mile. And I hear really, really, really bad things about Trans Am. So there's companies out there that I know are not doing you any justice. If you can get into Prime or something like that, yes, that's good. Don't worry about what your truck is governed at. Don't worry about anything other than your cents per mile, your drops, and just worry about how much money you're going to be making. Don't ask. A lot of people think that you need to ask how many miles you're going to get. So, again, I wasn't going to name any companies, but I might as well throw this one out there too. When I was in truck driving school, there was a guy at Stevens Transport, recruiter. He would come into the truck driving school and he would put on his charade. He would buy us donuts and shit for the morning, right? It's like 7 in the morning. He buys us coffee and donuts from like Dunkin' Donuts. And we're all like, yeah, let's listen to what you have to say. You know, trying to buy our love kind of thing, right? And this is what recruiters are going to do. So this is why I have to tell you guys this. So Steven's guy comes in and kind of showers us with gifts and says, don't worry about your CPM. Don't worry about that shit. It's how hard you run. Guy was just full of shit. And of course, I would ask the instructors at my truck driving school, like, hey, is this guy full of shit? He seems full of shit. He's trying to buy our love and then say that other companies suck. So this was his scam. He would say that other companies that are like 34 cents a mile to start would only give you 1,500 miles or whatever, right? Like he would say 38 cents a mile. If you're starting at Prime at 38 cents a mile, but you're only making 1,500 miles, you're making less than what Stevens is going to offer you, which would be 30 cents a mile, but you're going to be promised 3,000 miles a week. 3,000 miles times 30, $900 a week, just starting off in our company. Prime, 38 cents a mile. And he didn't say specifically Prime, but I think that's what Prime goes for, is 38 cents a mile, unless it's changed. But 38 cents a mile times 1,500 is, I don't know how much. It's like $700 or something, right? Or $600. Man, I can't think right now. Yeah, it's like $600, right? So they're like, guys are like, $900 or $600? I think it's a pretty easy bet. But here's the trick. Don't worry about how much miles they are going to give you. They do not want to run you 1,500 miles. They would run you 500,000 miles if they could. Trust me. Because if you're running and making them money, that's what they want. So your cents per mile actually matters. And 2, you are never promised a specific amount of miles. Ever. So get that right out of your head. So your specific miles that they tell you you're promised 3,000 miles is horseshit. It's horseshit. So if Stevens, like I even talked to the guy at Stevens, the truck driver that came in like a week after the show off their brand new equipment. And we asked the guy, of course all of us are asking questions, you know, us trainees, whatever, students, and we corner the guy and we're like, okay, come on man, how many miles are you getting? This guy's saying 3,000. He goes, I average about 2,200 a week. And we're like, I knew it. So we're getting paid low CPM and not even running hard. Fuck that company. Fuck that company. But he tried to shower us with gifts and tried to put the logic, oh, they're only going to run you 1,500 miles if they're giving you 38 cents per mile. Bullshit. Go for the higher CPM every time. And if your company is not going to run you hard, talk to the higher up. Say, hey, they're not running me. They will do something because the higher up's going to be like, you ain't making us no money then. Then whose fault is this? Dispatcher. Get him more miles. Because more money you're making them, the happier they're going to be with you. Also, make sure that you're getting raises. So ask them 6 months, are you going to get a raise? Or are you still making 30 cents a mile, whatever the fuck it is, right? So in my company, 3 cent raise every 6 months. Very, very nice. Very, very, very good starter company. And in about a month, I'm quitting my job because I'm done with OTR. So I want to discuss a little bit about my options now that I've already put in the experience and I've already done my due diligence. I've already done my hard work. I'm moving up to New York. I'm sure a lot of you guys have already done this, and if you haven't, I suggest you do, because it keeps me motivated. That when I get out of OTR, there's tons of jobs. Daytime jobs, regional jobs, that'll pay a lot more. Go on Craigslist. Type in just CDL. You'll see all the CDL requirement jobs that are paying pretty good. Unless you see the word Swift in there or one of these major companies. Get out of that. But there's tons of jobs out there that after you put in your work, you get the experience. There are tons of jobs out there that want to hire you. Where you're either home every day, every other day, or on the weekends. And they pay a lot more than your starter company. So I do suggest staying OTR if you like the lifestyle. I definitely suggest it. Become an owner-operator, save up your money, get through a leasing program, a lease purchase program or something like that, where you actually are going to own your truck by the end of your lease. I definitely suggest doing that. But if you're like me and just went out and did an OTR just for the experience so you can get a better job or a day job, if you're like me, that's cool too. Put in your hard work. I suggest going at least a year and a half. Not even just a year and a half. I suggest you do about 150,000 miles before getting out of OTR if that's your decision. But go on to Craigslist, look at all those jobs. It really doesn't matter where you are located. You will find a nice trucking job in your area or relatively close to your area. So I see jobs all the time. Car haulers, they'll haul, from Jacksonville down to Miami up to Jacksonville, and they'll pay $25 per car. Let's say you have, let's say you have 5 cars. So that's $125, and you're going from Miami to Jacksonville. Let's say you live in Miami, and you're going from Miami to Jacksonville. That's about 400 miles, probably a little less, but let's just say 400 miles. And you get paid, let's say, $200 to haul those cars from back and forth. Plus your $25 a car, which is 5 cars. Let's just say you're making $325 a day. You go up to Jacksonville, you stay at a hotel, whether that's paid for by the company or whatever, get a $35 motel or whatever, right? Then you come back down. So in 2 days, you're making really good buck. You're making you're making much more than you're generally making OTR if you're not an owner-operator. So there are things like this out there. And then you're home, and you can either take your home time and then go out and do this run another time, and you're making over $1,000 a week after taxes, about $1,000, and just working 4 days. And then you get to go home. There's jobs like this out there, but you need the experience OTR. And when you're OTR, try to have enough money. So this is all about money that I'm talking about. As much money as you can make, try to make as much money as possible during the time that you have. And to increase your OTR experience and how much money you're making, don't buy a brand new car. Don't pay rent on an apartment. Lose your apartment, put your shit in storage. That's what I did. It took me about 6 months before I did it. But $100 a month as opposed to like $700 or $800 a month I was paying for internet and everything else, and then my rent and everything. It was about $800 a month. I saved $700 a month by putting all my shit in storage and paying $80 a month. So that's another suggestion for you if you want to, what will feel like an extra $700 a month. Just put your shit in storage, your OTR anyways, just grind hard, go a year and a half, at least, I recommend. If you go a year, it is what it is, I don't suggest it, but you can definitely still find a decent job after a year. Then again, 2 years, 3 years experience, some people might have to go 3 years before really, really good jobs start opening up. So there's a lot of different options out there. I suggest going OTR for a year and a half. And then after that, pick and choose, right? And I would suggest also staying with that company for a long period of time, like a year and a half. Don't go every 6 months switching companies. Now, generally in trucking, it doesn't matter that much when you're talking about OTR. But when you're talking about decent daytime jobs, I think that's a much better look that you're not switching companies every 6 months. And that, you know, you're actually willing to stick around with the company, even if it is your starter company. I suggest it. And in about a month, if you guys really want to know what my company is, and you're interested in my company, like I said, $1,500 a week I made just last week. If you're interested in this stuff, and it's a starter company, a good starter company, and after like 6 months you can become a trainer and stuff. I don't really care to be smelling someone's BO for 4 weeks at a time, so I never became a trainer. If you want to become a trainer, you're making more money, so if you can become a trainer in 6 months and they want trainers, then I suggest you do it. If that's what you want to do, you'll make more money. And it's less work for you. But yeah, that's enough for this video. I'm just letting you guys know how you can make the most amount of money. I did not expect this to go 30 minutes. I really wanted this only being 15 minutes. But I think this will enlighten some of you guys on what you should actually be looking for in your starter company, let alone any company if you're trying to make the most amount of money. Don't worry about your home time. Don't worry about detention pay, because your company will try to run you regardless. I mean, I would worry less about these things as opposed to your cents per mile, your raises every 6 months, and your drops. So it depends on what field you're going in. If you're going into flatbed, you're generally not loading and unloading, you're only tarping. And if you're box van or reefer, you know, that might be different. You know, you might have to unload, and you might make more money that way. Dropping hooks, that'll make you more money. So if your company's 100% no-touch freight, well, that's what you're going to get. You know, you might have to, and if it's 100% drop and hook, you'll be making more money than people that have to load their trailers. Like, I've been in docks that easily would have been like 6 hours, easy. 6 hours just waiting for them to load. Then you go to the place to unload, that's another 6 hours. Is that worth your time? No, I would suggest no-touch freight, and 100% drop and hook. That would be a good route. You'll be making more miles. So there's a lot of factors, but the three main things is what I discussed, and I want you guys to figure that out. Don't settle for 27 cents a mile. I don't care if you're a felon. I don't care whatever. There's a company out there that will hire you. You just need to search around. You might have to play a little bit on Google, whatever, right? Like, there's a job that will hire you, no matter what your scenario is. Just make sure you're able to get your CDL and you're not doing drugs, and you can pass a physical. So 33 minutes, I gotta stop this video. Realize what's going on in trucking, and if you're trying to get into trucking, let's make as much money as possible. See you guys.